With just one day left until the Star Wars Ahsoka series concludes for Season 1, we're left wondering, where is this story going? Where is it going? Now, I've made a million videos on where this series could go, including the Grisk being the big bad that Baylan Skoll is seeking. And if you don't know who the Grisk are, then you haven't been reading the Thrawn Ascendancy novels, which is okay. You don't have to read them. That's going to catch you up, I'm sure. And the Ahsoka series has this way about it that just seems like it has this really dark undertone. The Empire Strikes Back, anyone? How about the end of Revenge of the Sith? That was pretty dark. And if the Grisk do return in this series, well, they haven't been in this series yet, but if they return to Star Wars from the Thrawn novels, then you can guarantee this is going to be really dark. So dark that we haven't seen the likes of it since the Yuuzhan Vong. And before I get into the darkness that could be the Ahsoka series or the Mandalorian movie or the Ahsoka Season 2, I do want to give a shout out to this video's sponsors. Your Mom's Account 69, Joseph Capana 3139, and James Witt, our friend across the pond 2146. Thank you all for what you do. No, they don't sell me anything, they don't give me anything, and I don't give them anything other than a good shout out because they're loyal supporters of the channel. And they asked to be sponsors. So I said yes. And I could do the same for you. Just hit the subscribe button and tell me in the comments that you would like to be a sponsor. That's all you got to do. And yeah, let's get back to the Ahsoka series and how dark it could be. If you know anything about the Yuuzhan Vong and of the legends of old, then you know that they damn near took over the galaxy. We're going to call it Galaxy Prime or Mega Galaxy if you prefer. But the Grisk are the modern version of the Yuuzhan Vong. Now, if they would have used the Yuuzhan Vong name, then everybody would say, oh, that's unoriginal. You're stealing from Legends material. Oh, how dare you? Yeah, I know. It's hard to please Star Wars fans. Any of us, really. I don't know. I'm not that hard to please, I guess. But renaming them the Grisk and giving some minor variations to their characteristics brings in new story content or new-ish story content. And it helps us to not be able to predict what's going to happen. And we know that in the Thrawn Ascendancy novels, Jixtus, the leader of the Grisk, was defeated. But Thrawn also said that if they fled battle, it's because the Grisk chose to flee battle, not because they were ultimately defeated. And who doesn't love a good Thrawn quote? Yeah, Grand Admiral Thrawn, hell of a guy. Genius, smart. I guess genius and smart are pretty much the same thing, sort of. Oh well, I'm sticking with it. I'll die on this hill. And I know a lot of people are saying, what's the use? What's the point in watching this or caring about it? We all know where it leads to the sequel trilogy. Well, a deep dive into the characteristics and the fates of the characters prior to and during the sequel trilogy is never a bad thing. They don't have to be directly related to the sequel trilogy. I mean, did you see Ahsoka in the sequel trilogy? No, just her voice. So you don't know if she even survived before that time or died. And look at it this way. The original trilogy came out with the conclusion of Darth Vader's story, and then we got the prequels. We knew where that was going to lead. The Jedi Order was going to fall. The galaxy was going to be taken over by the Empire, and Darth Vader was going to become a thing. We knew all that. It was predictable. So did we hate the prequel trilogy because of that? No, we enjoyed seeing how it got to that point. Now, I do think the Ahsoka series is going to take a dark turn. Maybe not this season, but it's going to begin this season and then continue through season 2 and then spill over into the Mandalorian movie. So yeah, you have a lot of years before this story is complete. Maybe it'll go faster than we think, but with all the strikes that have been happening, and by the way, the writer's strike is over, so they can write content now. They just can't act it out until the actors get what they need. Yeah, so I think this is going to take multiple years for it to conclude, possibly even beyond my lifetime, but I hope not. I'm not that damn old. But in the end, I don't think Ahsoka Tano is going to make it through. Sorry, she's going to become a Force ghost. Anakin's going to teach her the way, or Obi-Wan, or somebody is going to teach her the way of life after death. But as far as the character of Balin Skull himself, I don't see it ending well for him. If the Grisk are the ones that he's seeking out, they're going to betray him or use him for a little bit, then betray him. But since the sad passing of Ray Stevenson before this show even aired, I don't know that they're going to continue his character, so it may happen faster than we thought. And it's kind of sad that he didn't get to see his brilliant performance on screen. And I hope they do not recast Ray Stevens' character of Balin Skull, even if it's like Gerard Butler, who looks similar to him and, has similar accent, but it still takes away something when you recast a character, especially a new character. Now, recasting a young Luke Skywalker or a young Princess Leia, that's inevitable. If they ever continue stories with them, they're going to have to recast them because the CGI just isn't quite there yet. They still look like dead people for some reason. And by the way, my videos are not here to inform you of everything Star Wars. I don't stand here and say I'm this grand poobah of the Star Wars universe. I'm not. I know a lot about Star Wars, but I don't know everything, and this is not what my channel is about. My channel is about conversation. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's talk about it, and let's see where it goes. And this is just a little side thing I'm saying here for those who say, oh, you're rambling on. No, imagine it as a conversation. There are enough grand poobahs out there that you can listen to get your information from or disagree with, whatever you want to do. That's up to you. And I do make informational videos about things I do know about. I just like to talk about Star Wars with you guys and have a conversation. Just like standing there with a buddy. We're buddies. Anyways, I got sidetracked again. I just wanted to put that out there so nobody had any misconceptions of what this video or my channel is about. It's not about me being all-knowing. It's about us talking about Star Wars. But let's get back to Ahsoka again since I keep getting sidetracked. Now, the Ahsoka series only has one episode left for this season. I feel like it's going to spill over into at least the second season and then into the Mandalorian movie. Speaking of which, the Mandalorian movie is supposed to combine all the shows of this timeline into that movie. That means The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, Skeleton Crew, which is supposedly coming out sometime, Ahsoka, and whatever else they throw in there in the mix. There's something I'm missing. I know it. Anyways, so these are all supposed to combine into one. So that means that, yeah, maybe Boba Fett's going to be in it. Who knows? Maybe it's just a side character from the Book of Boba Fett. And Ahsoka Tano should be in it, of course, because she is driving the timeline right now. And, of course, Din Djarin, Grogu, the usuals, Bo-Katan. But also, what about Luke Skywalker? If Luke Skywalker shows up in the Mandalorian movie, then we can guarantee that it's going to be similar to the Yuuzhan Vong story and the Grisk replacing the Yuuzhan Vong. Now, one thing I am about 75% sure of. Now, let's go ahead and bump it up to 76. 76% sure of there's not going to be a Mara Jade. At least not that we recognize from the Legends stories. Luke Skywalker is not going to get married. He's not going to have children. They are not in the sequel trilogy. They're not even talked about in the sequel trilogy. And you would think that Leia, Han, Chewie, somebody would have mentioned them if they were around. So no, I don't think that's going to happen. If a Mara Jade character does show up, then it's going to be side by side with Ezra Bridger, changing the story a little bit to make it fresh and newer. But what do you think? Is this a possibility? I've been screaming that the Grisk are going to play a role in it, and I've been screaming that the Zeffo were going to become a part of the Star Wars story as a whole. And as you see, there are hints of it in the Ahsoka series. In Jedi Fallen Order, there's a lot. In Jedi Survivor, there's little hints. And in the Bad Batch, there's little hints of the Zeffo. So I'm not always wrong. I take my licks when I am wrong, but sometimes I'm right. But even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while. Broken clock's right twice a day. I can go on with these analogies and stupid euphemisms, but I'm not gonna. Anyways, what do you think? Let me know down in the comments if you think this is a possibility. And if you're going to comment something hateful and nasty and mean, don't. Just go somewhere else and do that. Go to an echo chamber that's going to side with you on it. You're not going to convert me. You're not going to make me hate Star Wars just because you hate Disney or something like that. It's not going to happen. And don't say I'm not a real Star Wars fan, because anybody that likes Star Wars is a real Star Wars fan. You gatekeeping numbskulls really get my goat, and I will react. You might not like it, but I'm going to react. I'm not going to react and convert over to your way of thinking. That's not going to happen. In fact, I'll just think you're probably pretty stupid. And no, I'm not talking about the people that disagree with my opinions. I love that. I love having a civil conversation with people that don't see eye to eye with me. We can trade thoughts and ideas. And sometimes I say, okay, yeah, that's a good point. And sometimes they say, okay, yeah, you got a point there too. But it's the people that are just downright mean, despicable, and rude that really get me going. And I'm not going to change how I do my videos or what I like or pretend to like just to pander to people. It's not who I am. I'm keeping it real. Gerald keeps it real. But anyways, before you go, please leave a comment down below if you'd like to be a sponsor of the next video or a couple videos after. I'd be happy to sponsor you or call you a sponsor, whatever we want to call it. But anyways, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video. This is Gerald, a Star Wars fanatic, signing off, wishing you all great health, happiness, and peace. Thank you all for watching, and remember, this is the way. And positivity in the Star Wars community can be the only way.